ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो वृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, chapter number 6, verse 44. This is a meeting between Lord Shiva and demigods headed by Brahma. After the sacrifice of Daksha was destroyed, Daksha was killed, Bhrigu's mustache was uprooted, and Bala lost his eyes and Pusa his teeth. So there was a mayhem and chaos. So to pacify Lord Shiva and get everything back in order, they went to Kailas. So we read the beautiful description of Kailas mountain. And finally they reached a huge Vatavriksha, big tree which was spread in hundreds of kilometers. So Lord Shiva, that is his place where he lives, he was sitting under the tree and conversing with sages such as Sri Narada, Kumaras. So that's when Brahma arrived. So he was sitting with his left foot capped on his right thigh, left hand on his left knee, and right hand on the yogpat in the Parakamudra. So when he saw Lord Brahma approaching, then he stood up and bowed his hand to Brahma. So this is very interesting how these two great personalities, they are meeting. So you see, they do not have any ego problems. Brahma is senior and he is supposed to be father of Shiva. But he is not having ahankara or pride like that. He goes and very humbly speaks with Shiva, knowing him to be a very great personality and recognizing the superior position of Shiva, although happens to be his son. Because Shiva is more powerful than Brahma. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also it is described that Shiva has more qualities, 55 qualities, Brahma up to 50 of Lord Krishna. So he respects him. And Shiva, he also bows to Brahma, knowing position of Brahma, at least socially he is superior. So he stood up immediately and bowed his head to him. So he did not think that I am so great and all these great people have come to me to ask questions, how can I stand up now and respect somebody? No, he immediately stood up. And he kept standing with folded hand and lowered hand in front of Brahma. So Brahma, he was smiling, rather laughing when he spoke. So in the first two verses which he spoke, we read yesterday, he explained about the greatness of Brahma, and he is actually equating him to the Supreme Lord. And as Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, that this is speaking from the opinion of the Shaivites, or considering him as an expansion of the Lord. He is talking about this. So he said that you are the cause of this universe, you create, you maintain, just like a spider. So in our Vedanta philosophy, Lord is considered as Abhinna Nimitta Padhankaram, means he is the material as well as the efficient cause of the universe. He is the one who supplies matter and also is the creator, the agent of creation. In Sankhya they accept dualistic philosophy that there is Prakriti and there is Purusha, and Prakriti is independent of Purusha. But Vedanta accepts only one ultimate cause. And Bhagavatam says, Vadanti tat tattvajas tattvam is jnana vadvayam. There is only one non-duality, dual being or consciousness, conscious being who is the cause of the universe. And he is the source of everything. Like Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabho. Nothing is independent of him. This is the basic principle of the Vedic philosophy. So even this universe is coming from him, and the example is given of a spider. Just like a spider, he makes a net or web, and he does not bring material from anywhere else. He spits it out from his mouth. So he is not only the agent of making the web, but also the supplier of the material. So Lord is compared to that. Lord Shiva is being compared like that. Vishwam Srivasi Parsi Atsi Kridan Una Patoyatha. Just like the spider plays. You have seen spider? How they make the web happily, and then they are inside it. So Lord is also creating the universe and then going inside it. That's why it's called Vishnu. So it comes out of him and then he is inside it. So he continues in the same way. He says, Tvameva dharmartha dugha vipatyai dakshena sutrena sasarjithadharam Tvaiva loke avsitascha setavo Jnana brahmanaha shraddhadate dhritam Say that you are dharmartha dugha. You are the supplier of dharma and artha. And for that purpose, you have created the cloth called sacrifice by using the thread of Daksha. So Daksha is an important person because he is propagating the path of sacrifice, this karma marga. Lord Shiva belongs to the path of Jnana Marga. That's why there is a clash. Because in Jnana Marga, you destroy the sacrifice. No Agni, no Chakriya. No Agni, no work. Then no need to do all that. But here Lord Shiva has this position that he is also the supporter. He is the way Brahma is praying to him. But you are the one who create the sacrifice. You have destroyed it, so you establish it again now. So he is called Dharmartha Dugha, the supplier of Dharma or Artha. So sacrifice is meant to give you wealth. This is the old Vedic system that you want some wealth, some power, some position, then you do a yajna. And then you will get it by the piety created by yajna. The yajna creates an adrishta, which results in what you want, fulfills your desire. And he is also the propagator of dharma. That one says, Tvam karmanam Tvaiva loke avsitascha setavo. It is you who have set up the setu, means bridge, or the bondage, or the law of moral code. The principles of dharma, religion have been set up by you, so that people don't go wild, to control them. Yan Brahmana Sraddhade Dhritavrata. So the Brahmanas who are fixed in their principles, with faith they follow these two things. They follow the principles of religion as described in scriptures, and also they perform sacrifices. So we say that these both are propagated by you. So how can you destroy them? The idea is that you please establish them back. Hey Dharmartha Dugha Abhipattaye Dharma Roop Arthasya Pravartanaya. So you are the giver of dharma, and for its propagation Dakshena Daksha Rupa Sutrena Adhva Rupam Vastram Tantuva Evatam. You are like a weaver, that you have weaved a cloth called Adhvara or sacrifice by using the thread in the form of Daksha. Because Daksha was very famous for doing these sacrifices. Tatha loke setavo varnashram dharma maryadasya tvayaiva amsitam nirmita. And you have established the code on the principles of varnashram dharma. So originally society was divided according to the nature of the people. Varnashram, varna means the class according to the nature. So people were trained according to their nature, and then they worked in that field. And since there was not much variety, there was no technology as we have now, so the nature of people was also not so much diverse. Now people's nature has become diverse because of technology. There is a lot of movement of people mixing here and there, and marriages, people of different natures belonging to different classes. So there is so much more variety than the seeds. Previously there were limited seeds, one variety of wheat, and variety of barley. Now we have hundreds of variety. Even milk is so much variety. Fat milk, low fat milk, milk with vitamin B, vitamin C, pasteurized, homogenized, raw milk, fruit milk, fragrant milk, without fragrance, all kinds of milk. So originally it was not like that. So people were also very simple, and it was easy to recognize the nature of the people and then train them accordingly so that they can function and work in cooperation to please the Lord. That was the purpose. Varnashram dharma acharavata nila purushena puman vishnu aradhyate panthanam yat tattva. So the purpose of varnashram was Vishnu aradhana. That's how the universe was like one big family. That everybody worked, and the goal was to worship Vishnu. That was the purpose of sacrifice. Because sacrifice called yajna is also name of Vishnu. So it was all meant for his pleasure. So everybody worked for that. Then slowly some demons came and they said, why we have to work for the pleasure of Vishnu, we will work for our own pleasure. But the philosophy is that you cannot get pleasure independent of Vishnu, Krishna. It's not possible. Because the one who has designed this universe, he has designed it like this. It's like you have a car, so everything is working in harmony. All the parts, right? How the crankshaft is working, how the fuel injection, carburetor, how their fuel is injected, it burns, it gives, then the car moves. When you don't get jerk, it moves nicely. But if the fuel injection goes out of order, out of tune, then you start getting jerks. If it goes out of tune completely, it will not even start. So one who designed the car, he did not design that these parts work independently for their own pleasure or satisfaction and think we are independent. No, it was not designed. Everything works in cooperation. There is a symbiosis. So universe is also made up like that. Of course in the car the parts are not sentient beings, so they don't have ego. They don't have ego problem. Wherever you put a piece, poor guy remains there and functions. He does not say, why I am the tire, I should be the seat. Right? So in the society we have people and they have consciousness. Then they say, why I should be the tire, I want to be the seat. So they say, we are Dalit. Dalit means tire. The Dalit means trodden, on which you walk. So they say, we are Dalit, but now we don't want to remain Dalit, we want to be the seat, or actually the roof. But the tire is tire, it cannot be the seat. Of course, if you can change it, there is no problem. So Varnashram system did not say that if you have qualities of one type, still you have to work in another. Krishna very clearly says that whatever is your nature, swadharma, then you work according to that. Swadharma nidanam sreya par dharma vayava. So you work according to your dharma, according to your nature. But if nature is tire type, then you cannot be the seat. If the nature is seat type, then you cannot be the tire. Otherwise you will get tired and then you will retire. So you have to work. This is Varnashram. This is for the pleasure of the Lord, because He is the one who designed it. It is designed by a sentient being, and sentient being, when they do something, they have a purpose behind it. So the purpose was that he knew that all these people who are in the universe, they can be happy if they work together like parts work in a car, because parts are not independent, parts are for the whole. If part wants to be independent, then it suffers, then it has no value. You take out one screw from the car, it has no meaning. It may look like a screw, it is not. But when it is there in the car, it has very important work to do. So we are all like parts of God. But if we think we are independent, then we are lost and we suffer. So this is the meaning of Dharma Setu. That the principle of Dharma. Swadharma, Dharma according to body, and Dharma according to the soul. Ato dakshvadhe sati samprati dharma pravartakasya bhavat dharmasya lokasya durgati cha. So he says that you have destroyed the sacrifice, you have killed Daksha. And Daksha he compared to as a thread. So if you take out threads from the cloth, then is there cloth separate? Is it possible to have cloth and all the threads are pulled out? No. So cloth is made of threads. Is cloth different from thread, or is it one with thread?
No, cause and effect again.
So what do you say? Is cloth separate from the thread, or is it one with the thread?
It's one with the thread. It's one with the thread, but it's still different from the thread.
Now you're talking double talk. So is it one or is it different?
It is one.
How logic works, right? Now you know how logic works.
Why can't it be both?
Because in logic you cannot say both. Logic does not go for both. So if it is one with cloth, then why not wear thread? Why make cloth? And if it is separate from threads, then pull out the thread and have the cloth. Right? Why worry about the threads? It's separate anyway. So this is the riddle of philosophy. So he says that you have destroyed the thread. Now what happens to the cloth? Cloth is also destroyed. Because there is no cause, there is no effect. The effect is a state or a form of cause only. Without cause, no effect. So you create the sacrifice for the protection of the people, but you have killed Daksha. So now there is no one to propagate Dharma. He's the one who was propagating Dharma. So what will happen? People will suffer. Because without Dharma, what is remaining is Adharma. Right? If there is no Dharma, then there will be Adharma. And Adharma will lead to suffering in humanity. Because without Dharma, you cannot live. If you give up your Dharma, what will happen? You suffer. If the parts of a car are not working, the tire has its Dharma, the steering has its Dharma, engine has its Dharma. If they give up their Dharma, then what happens? Car doesn't work. So similarly, if people don't perform their Dharma, then society will become disturbed, as it is happening now. So he said that you are the Setu, you are the protector, and you have destroyed the sacrifice. Tvam karmanam mangalamangalanam kartusma lokam tanusvesva param va Amangalanam Chatamissamulbanam Viparyakena Tadeva Kasyachit. It says that you are called Mangala. You are the auspicious person. And Amangalanam Karmanam Kartu Smalokam Tanuse Swam Param. So, Mangalanam Karmanam, there are two types of activities you can perform. Auspicious activity and inauspicious activity. And auspicious activities give one type of result, means you go to heaven or even beyond that. So it says Tanuse Swa Paramva. Either by performing good deeds you enjoy heavenly pleasures, or you become liberated if they are transcendental activities. If you perform inauspicious activities, means which are not suitable to the dharma, then what happens? You suffer. Like state has some law. If you follow law, then if everybody follows the law, then there is peace and harmony in the society. But if there are criminals breaking the law, or the politicians who are squandering the public money because of their corrupt mind, then there is suffering. So therefore it says Amangalanam cha Tamishram Ulbanam, that those who are performing inauspicious act, they suffer Tamisra, heavy duty suffering.
I can see right now in this Kali Yuga the problem of, everybody is cheating everybody for money and this and that, and sometimes we would get so frustrated. Even if we are in the spirituality, also we have to deal with these things. So how can we, to be undisturbed of these things? For example, if you do manage something and you know that the people are cheating you, how do you deal with this kind of things if you want to be also in the spirituality and also you have to be in the world? Sometimes it's so hard.
Not sometimes, always. Sometimes being generous. Yes, this is a problem and we have to face it, because everybody has to live in this world, which is material world, and most people are not spiritual. So you have to face this problem and keep your head balanced, knowing that I am in this situation, I am in the wrong place. So unless you go to the spiritual world, you have to bear it and not become disturbed internally. You have to deal with the situation, but internally you remain fixed. That anyway, this is how things happen. Like when it rains, it is disturbing, or too much cold, it is disturbing. So we find a solution, we tolerate, and we continue with our work. It's not that if it is too cold, so now I cannot go out and buy vegetables. I need to make my breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. I have to get my things. So just because it is too much rain or too much cold, you don't starve. Continue. So like that we have to continue being tolerant and remaining fixed on our goal. The problems will always come. They will never come to an end. But we have to remain strong inside, not become depressed by the problems, or lose track of our goal. That will be spiritual suicide. So therefore he says that there are two types of people, but he says that sometimes also the opposite happens, that people are doing good activities and they suffer. And some are engaged in heinous crime and they are enjoying. So he says, Viparya kena tadeva kasyachit. Right? We see this sometimes. Many times this question is asked. How is it that people who are criminal minded, they are enjoying, and those who are saintly people, they are in trouble. So it also happens. Brahma himself is saying it, because he is called Vidhata. He is the one who writes the fate. He is the one who makes the rules. So he himself says. So he says, Karma phal datapi tvameva ityaha. But now he is saying that Shiva, you are the giver of the karma phal. You give the reward of the activities of a person. Hey Mangala, you are very auspicious yourself. Mangalanam punyanam kartu swaha swargalokam tanuse param moksham. Those who are doing good activities, auspicious activities, transcendental activities, devotion, then they either go to heaven if they are sakam karma, or they go to the spiritual world, become liberated. Amangalanam papanam kartus tamisram narakam tadev. And those who are doing bad activities, forbidden activities, then they get sin and they get consumed by it, so they go to Naraka. They suffer where Naram Kayati, where people cry, so they are going there. Tatreva ken hetuna kasyachit viparyo bhavet. He says, but sometimes, he says, there is also discrepancy in this law. Punya karturapi dakshades tamisram pap karturapi ajamilade rapvargam iti tvam prichase. Says that Daksha was doing good act, he was not doing something forbidden. Right? He was doing sacrifice. But look what happened to him. Poor guy got his throat cut for him, and it was not possible to cut it easily. So he got sacrificed himself in the sacrifice. And on the other side we have stories like Ajamil. It will come later on in 6th Canto, who was very sinful, and he went to Vaikuntha. So he says, what is this? Can you please tell me why it happens like this? So Brahma is trying to humor Shiva so that he is pleased, and then they will ask what he should do. So if you go to somebody and you want some favor, don't just go immediately and say, can you give me this? First you have to praise the person about his good quality and how wonderful he is. It's actually because of him that you are surviving. And then after that, then you can ask. Right? So Brahma is teaching us the Nika, how to behave in the world. You are asking how to behave in the world, he is teaching us. It's a technique, right? Management technique. Previously people were able to manage because people followed certain law. The students respected the teachers, right? So there was no discipline problem. Now students don't respect the teacher has to respect the student if he wants to teach. Otherwise he will be thrown out. And he cannot give any punishment. So that is...
Does Shiva need some of this kind of praises?
Then they are teaching to us. Shiva does not need, but they are teaching how you have to pacify somebody who is angry. Right? If your wife gets angry, then what do? You do something like this. And this house is running because of you. If you don't cook food, we all starve. You are the maintainer. Right? And then she cools down. And I also have some importance. Otherwise she says, I have no importance here. No one cares for me. Right? I don't even have value like a dog here. So then he said, no, you have all the value. So that's why he's praising him completely. So he says sometimes there is also viparya, or the opposite, that the good ones are getting the bad result and the bad ones are getting good result. Why it happens? This we see. And there is reason for everything that has to be understood. Navai satam tvaccharanarpitatmanam bhutesu sarveshu abhipashyatam tava bhutani chatmani aprithak didrikshatam prayena roso vibhaved yatha pashum. So now he comes to the point. He comes to the point of anger. So the thing was that Lord Shiva was very angry. So he says that animals become angry. Right? Anger is a type of powerful emotion. It is very powerful emotion that the person is totally under its control. There are other emotions. You don't lose your awareness totally. But when somebody is under the control of anger, then everything is forgotten. So he says that those great personalities who surrender themselves to your lotus feet and who see only you in every living being and see all living beings as their own self, they don't become overpowered by anger like animals. So interestingly, Lord Shiva is called Pashupati. Pashu means an animal, as the word is used here. Rosho abhibhaved yatha pashum. So one of the name of Lord Shiva is Pashupati. In Nepal, Kathmandu, there is a very famous temple of Lord Shiva called Pashupati Nath. So Pashupati means the master of the Pashus, animals. Of course, here the word Pashu means living beings. So, but in this verse the word Pashu is actually used for animal. So he said that people who have surrendered to you and they see your presence everywhere, then they don't become angry. How can you become angry if you are seeing Shiva everywhere? If you are worshipping Shiva and everywhere you see Shiva, Sivoham, Sivoham, Sivoham. You know this one very famous stotra sung by the impersonalists. Sivoham, 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 Sivoham. I am Shiva, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Very nice stotra. So they are seeing themselves Shiva, everywhere Shiva. Then how can they get angry? You get angry when you forget that other person is also Shiva. Because there is nothing but Shiva. So he is saying that it is not possible for you to be angry like this. And even this. That even if those who are surrendered to you, they don't become angry or they don't become overpowered by anger, how can you be overpowered by anger? It's impossible. So Sri Vishnu, he comments, Mama rosa prasadav eva tatra hetu iti chen meva. So in the previous verse he said that those who are good they get bad result and those who are bad they get good result. He says why it happens. So if Lord Shiva says, well, the reason for this is my grace and my anger. If I become angry, even if the person is good, he will get a bad result. And if I become gracious, even on some wicked fellow, he will get a good result. Right? So Brahma says, no. That's not possible. How can you be angry? It's not possible. Lord Shiva says that I can be angry and I can be gracious, therefore the result can be opposite. So he says, no, tav prasada eva sa bhavet natu rosha. He says, for you, you only are gracious person. You only give your grace to mercy to others. You never get angry. It's not possible. So this he is speaking by Nyaya called Kemutya Nyaya, that even those who are surrendered to you, they don't become overpowered by anger. How about to speak of you? How is that possible? Tav Tvam Atmani Paramatmani Tvai Aprithag Ananyatven. So those who are surrendered to you and they are seeing everything in you and they don't see anything different from you, Yadva Atmani Swasmin Aprithag, or they don't see anything different from themselves. Abhedaina Swasmin Sukha Dukhe Bhutani Api Sukh Dukvanti Vidrikshatam. Who know that as I suffer, the other person also suffers. Atmopyena Purusha Pramanam Adhigacchati. So we understand others' pain and pleasures when we compare it with our own self. So if I hit somebody, then if I think that if I get hit by someone, how do I feel? I suffer. So the other person will also suffer in the same way. So this is the meaning of not seeing others as different from oneself. We are different, but to have this feeling of empathy. That as I have the experience of pleasure and pain, the others also have. Bhutani api sukh dukhavanti. Nidrikshatam drashtum ichchatam eva kimut pasyatam. So here the word which is used is didriksha, that those who are desiring to see like this, even they don't become controlled by anger. But to speak of those who are seeing. So he is actually talking of people that who are not seeing others as non-different from themselves, but they want to see. Even such people will not be angry at others, because it goes against their own desire. You cannot harm yourself. No one desires to harm himself. So if you are seeing the other person as yourself, how would you like to harm by getting angry? Kimut pasyatam satam satah rosho abhibhavet. So he says yatha pasum abhibhavet. Just as an animal may be overpowered by anger, not these people. Pashva eva roshvanto bhavanti natu shankara. Only animals get angry, not human beings. Means the sadhus.
Only animals get angry?
Yes.
No.
No? Prayana. So then he uses the word prayana generally. Generally, only animals get angry, not the sadhu people. Sometimes sadhu also gets angry. So he said, Jaya Vijaya Vishya Karo Swatam Sankadi Namiva. So he says that the Kumaras, they went to see the Lord in Vaikuntha, and the gatekeepers, they stopped them. So because they stopped them, then the Kumaras became angry. And Kumaras are sadhu, they are the greatest of the sadhus. They are the same Kumaras who didn't want to marry when the father told them. So you are saying that sadhus don't become angry, only animals become angry. Why Kumaras became angry? They are not animals. They are most learned people. So he says, generally I am saying that usually the sadhus don't become angry. Sometimes they also become angry. So therefore, you are a sadhu. See how nicely Brahma is speaking. That you are a sadhu, usually you don't get angry. But this time you got angry on Daksha. and therefore Daksha is in trouble. So you please, now we don't angry. Daksha Vishayasya Tavrosa Atma Ramasya Piya Bhutiti Suchi. Although you are Atma Rama, you are a liberated person, you never come under the influence of the Tama. The anger comes when you become overpowered by the guna called tamas or ignorance. When you get angry because your intelligence becomes covered, becomes foggy, you forget. So he says, although you are Atma Rama, but still you got angry at Daksha. So please curtail your anger. Prithak dhiya karma disho drisho durashaya parodena arpita hridrujo nisham parandurattair vitudanyati uruntudas tatma vadhid devadhan bhavadvidha. So there are two types of people. First he spoke of the people who didrikshatam prithak, anya prithak, who don't want to see others as different, means who don't want to have bhed drishti. And then there are people who have bhed drishti. They think I am different, you are different. Then only the problem becomes, this is mine, this is yours. So then the fight starts. So such people, they are very much devoted to materialistic activities and their intentions are not good. If they see someone progressing, then their hearts start burning. And because of their ignorance, they speak harsh words to others because of their jealous nature. But great personalities like you, it does not behoove you that you punish such people. Why? Because they are already suffering from their bad karma. So what it means that this Daksha, he spoke harshly to you. Why? Because he has this vision that he is different and you are different. So it was not proper for you to get angry at him and kill him. How nicely he is pointing out. See, first he praised him so nicely, and now he is showing the defect in Shiva's behavior. That even if he got angry, he is a child. You are God. You are the creator, you are the maintainer, you are the protector. So you should not lose temper and then get angry and kill him. Because he is already going to suffer for his bad behavior anyway. Daivahata. They are already killed by their own bad fate, ill fate. So vadhit deva vadhan bhavad vida. In fact, he says that he is already killed and you are killing a person who is already killed. Somebody does a wrong act and then you also try to trouble him. You are so great, why you are doing it? Nanu asatsu rosha hetu samuchita sasti pradane navina kritanam agaksam phal apraptya sarve eva asanto bhaveyu tatra prithavi. So now he says that you are saying don't become angry, but if I don't become angry, then these people, if they are not controlled, who are performing wrong act, and I don't give them the result of their bad action, then everyone will become like them. Everyone will become a criminal. So I have to stop it. So why are you saying like this? So then he says, Prithagadiya, Parodayena, Paraspam Parasampad drishtya aruntuda maram bheta. Jealous people, when they see someone's progress, then they feel a burning in their heart and they cannot tolerate it. So then they try to criticize others, as Daksha was doing. Actually, Daksha was unable to tolerate the opulence of Shiva. Therefore, he got mad at him. When there was not a big reason to get angry. So, Devaneva Vado Yeshamiti Swapradheneva Te Dakshadeva Madishyanti. He says people like Daksha, they will die because of their own offense. You don't have to punish them. Tan Mavadhi, you please do not kill him. Yusmat Kopa Vishay Bhutatve Tesam Kadapi Uddharu Na Bhavi. Because if they become the object of your anger, then they will never be uplifted from this plight of envious nature. So we have to help them. Chama badan ko chahiye. So you will be tolerant like a tree, and they will be rectified. This is what Brahma is trying to speak to Shiva, so that Shiva will bring the sacrifice back in shape. We'll stop here. Any question?
I have a question about niti. If the goal of human life is to develop bhakti or love, yeah?
Yes.
And in order to have loving exchanges, there must be trust.
Right.
And so when one uses niti, there is a danger in undermining trust and therefore preventing love or bhakti from developing. So I think at least in this instance, we see Brahma is trying to pacify Lord Shiva, and therefore he's praising him. But at the same time, his praise is accurate. It's authentic.
Yes.
He's not just saying he's not making just exaggerations, right? But what he's saying is accurate, and he authentically appreciates Lord Shiva for these qualities, right? Because if he's saying things that are inaccurate or exaggerated, Lord Shiva would obviously pick up on it, right? He's no fool. He will know that someone is trying to flatter him rather than actually praise him.
Yes.
So I guess my question is, how does one prevent, let's say when one uses niti, how to do so without endangering the possibility to develop trust and love?
Well, first of all, the intention is the most important thing. There are two types of niti. One is the devotional type of niti, and the other is the material type of niti.
That's what's called kut niti?
Kut niti, and then you can say bhakti niti. Niti for devotion. So we have to have proper intention, means we are not trying to manipulate the other person for our own benefit. But our niti or behavior is such that if the other person, if I speak directly to this person, then may offend and become upset, may not understand me, then I speak in such a way that he performs the act which is conducive for devotion. I have no intention that I want to take advantage and then enjoy the situation. Not like that. So that's what Brahma is trying to do, because this mess has been created and he wants to rectify it so that Dharma can continue. Because there are people who need to do this sacrifice. Everybody is not a yogi like Shiva. So therefore he is asking him, and he is speaking he's saying something about him which is not wrong, because Shiva is Ishvara. And at the same time he wants that this action of reviving the sacrifice and bringing Daksha back to life is done by him, and this will only happen if he is pleased. So therefore he talks like this. He doesn't have some other intention that he wants to get some favor from Shiva by flattering him. So we have to be also having the same intention, especially if we are dealing with devotees. When we are dealing with non-devotees, we may have to deal with Kutniti because they are like that. And if we don't deal with them on their platform, then they will take advantage of us because they don't care.
You're not trying to develop bhakti.
They're not. So they only want to take advantage of you in material sense. So we have to protect ourselves, and then we may have to also play the game. And again, our intention is not to exploit them, but not get exploited. So otherwise, bhavanti te mudadhiya parabhavam. So those stupid people, they are defeated. Yena mayavishu mayuna. Those who are mayavi, cheaters, if you are also not like them with them. But when we are dealing with devotees, then we don't have that intention. But with them also, we may be tactful, so that the person's mind is not disturbed, because everybody has their own perception. So when Krishna was dealing tactfully with Balaram, it's supposed to be his first expansion. So when he realized that Balaram is not interested in that Subhadra is married to Arjuna, he wanted that Subhadra is married to Duryodhana or somebody else. So Krishna realized that this is not proper, and especially Subhadra also wanted to marry with Arjuna. So when he arranged this whole game, that he got her kidnapped, so well planned. And when Balaram became angry, how nicely he dealt with him. He didn't come out, and everybody is running behind Arjuna with their bow and arrow, and Balaram is running, and this is, for Kshatriyas, this is the biggest act of embarrassment, that somebody comes and abducts their sister or daughter. So they are all chasing him and say, we are going to teach this guy lesson, although he is also their relative. But how can he do this to us? But Krishna was hiding. So then everybody is saying, where is he? Why he is not coming? So then Balaram says, stop, where is Krishna? So he says, Krishna is sitting inside drinking a cup of tea, a glass of lassi, cooling his heels. So he ran to him and he said, come on, what's wrong with you? This Arjuna came in the dress of a sannyasi. That's why this sannyasi is a problem right from the beginning. Even at that time sannyasi ran away with the girl. So you are not bothered about it? And he says, what? He says, who has done this? He says, he was Arjuna who came here like a sannyasi. He says, really? And what did he do? He says, he abducted Subhadra. So then he said, and you don't like it? So he is like trying to get his anger down. He knows everything, but he's asking him questions. As the time passes, obviously the anger goes down. So he says, what do you mean don't like it? Why he has done it? And he says, but what about Subhadra? Does she like it? So Balaram says, I have not thought of that. So he says, but what if she likes? Now he's already put him in spot. So he says, we should at least find out if she likes it. And if she likes, what's your problem? So he dealt with him so nicely, and then, yes, if she likes, then okay. And then says, well, if she likes, you think Arjuna is not a qualified person? You think Duryodhana is more qualified? And Arjuna, blah blah, then start seeking. He is the one who went to heaven, he helped Indra, he pacified Shiva in fight, and where will we find another brother-in-law like him, who is more suitable than him? And then Bhagavan says, well, what you say seems to be right. So he says, then why are you getting upset? We should call him back and treat him nicely. He says, he's taking our burden away from our head, because in India it's a responsibility to get your sister or daughter married to a qualified person. So he says, people are looking for the match, they are giving ad in the newspaper, and they are going on the internet trying to find a match. Here you got it in the home, without any effort. You should thank him. So this is devotional tactics. You have to deal like that.